Usher and Justin Bieber got into a heated argument and a possible
We are finding out that Usher and Justin Bieber got into it at the Gold Party this week.
Okay, so everybody has been so focused on Justin and Usher that nobody stopped to think about the one person who was actually standing right there when it all went down, Hailey Bieber. She was in that room. She watched the whole thing happen in real time. She was the one Justin grabbed when they left that party fast. And now, Hailey has broken her silence. And what she has put out there is so carefully worded, so deliberate, so loaded with subtext that the internet has completely lost its mind trying to decode it. Because Hailey does not do anything by accident. Every move she makes publicly is calculated. And this one is no different. Stay right there, because by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what Hailey is really saying and why it changes the entire dynamic of this story.
Usher and Justin Bieber got into a heated argument and a possible fist fight. That's according to TMZ. They say it all went down at an Oscars after party hosted by Beyonce and Jay-Z. TMZ goes on to say, we have heard people talking about the incident between Usher and Justin, with some saying it ended up as a fist fight between the two. Sources connected to Justin tell TMZ Usher came up to Justin at the party with energy and anger, and the two got into a heated exchange. The sources, however, do say that there was no physical contact, but it was intense. They tried calling Usher's team to get a consistent story, but nobody's responding. They do go on to say that we're told Justin's been trying to erase everyone in his past, and one source connected to Justin Bieber told us he has always been rude to Usher. But the fact that there is a rumor about Usher and Bieber that has to do with Diddy allegedly, it really doesn't help the situation and what people might think the conversation was about. Of course, that is complete speculation.
Here's what has been bugging me about the way this story has been covered. Everyone has been so fixated on Justin versus Usher that Hailey has been almost completely overlooked, and that is a massive mistake. Because in terms of understanding what really happened at Beyonce's Gold Party on March 15th, Hailey Bieber is arguably the most important person in this entire situation. Think about it. Usher's people are spinning their version of events through carefully managed sources. Justin's camp put out a statement and then went silent. Various witnesses have been feeding bits and pieces to the press, and everybody is treating this like a two-man story. But Hailey was there, right there. She did not hear about this from a source or read about it on TMZ. She lived it in real time. She felt the energy shift in that room. She saw the look on her husband's face when Usher approached. She was the one Justin reached for when they decided they needed to leave.
As if today wasn't already basura, we are finding out that Usher and Justin Bieber got into it at the Gold Party this weekend. Yes, the Gold Party that Beyonce and Jay-Z host every year after the Oscars. Now, TMZ found out about this from people who attended the party and overhearing them. I'm not surprised they had people camped out in front of the party. What's being alleged is that Usher went up to Justin in a very angry kind of manner. They exchanged words and it led to them throwing hands. As far as people know, no cops were called. Now, we know that they did unfollow each other a couple of months ago in the midst of Justin kind of recalibrating his life and the people that he surrounds himself with. I know people are speculating it's revolving a certain person who's currently serving a sentence in jail right now. I'm not even going to touch on that. All I know is that Beyonce and Jay-Z are going to get real effing strict when it comes to who they invite. Because what do you mean people found out about this because you were yapping outside of the building? I know he has Coachella next month. I don't know if he's planning to have a whole revelations moment, but we know he's been for a lot in this industry, so God only knows what this will lead to.
And if you want to understand what really happened that night, you do not look at the carefully worded statements from either camp. You look at what the person who was actually standing there is putting out into the world. And what Hailey has just put out is small, quiet, understated, and absolutely loaded. So here's what happened. In the middle of all this noise, Hailey posts something, and on the surface, it looks like nothing, just a simple, relatable caption. Me trying to act normal after hearing something that hurt my soul. No names, no hashtags, no direct references, nothing that could be screenshotted and used as a statement. Just that one line sitting there quietly, while the entire internet immediately loses its mind over it. And here is why that one line is so significant. Because hurt my soul is not casual language. You do not use that phrase to describe a minor inconvenience or a bad day. Hurt hurt my soul is the language of someone who has been hit somewhere deep, somewhere personal, somewhere that they were not prepared to be hit. And the timing of this going out in the middle of the biggest public situation involving her husband right now is not a coincidence. Hailey does not do things by accident. She is not accidentally vague. She is deliberately vague. And there is a massive difference between those two things. What she has done here is communicate something real and significant to the people paying attention while maintaining total deniability publicly. She has not made a statement about Usher. She has not commented on the fight. She cannot be quoted or pulled into a back and forth. But she has made it very clear to anyone watching that she is not okay, and that whatever happened at that party affected her on a level that she is still processing. And this is actually very consistent with how Hailey operates, because if you have been paying attention to her over the years, you know that this is her signature move. She does not make bold public declarations. She does not go on Instagram Live and vent. She does not call up press outlets and feed narratives. What she does is drop these precise little moments of honesty that are just specific enough to mean something to the people who know the context, and just vague enough to give her complete cover publicly. And the people who have been following this story closely absolutely know the context right now. A few words about something hurting her soul lands completely differently when your husband just had a public altercation with his former mentor at one of the biggest parties of the year. It lands differently when that former mentor is connected to a period of your husband's life that involves some genuinely dark and complicated history. It lands differently when you were standing right there watching it happen. Hailey has essentially confirmed, without confirming, that the Oscar party situation affected her personally and deeply. And in the world of celebrity communication, that is as close to a direct statement as you are going to get from someone who is clearly choosing their words with the precision of someone who understands exactly how everything they say is going to be received. But now, here is where the story takes a turn that I want to address directly, because I think it is being misread by a lot of people. Alongside Hailey's post, a report came out from Star Magazine claiming that Hailey wants Justin to seek help for anger issues in the wake of the Usher confrontation. And I have seen people running with this as if it is a straightforward story about Justin being volatile and Hailey being at her wit's end with him. And I want to pump the brakes on that. Hard. Because let us think about the timing and the sourcing here. An unnamed source feeding a story to a tabloid that reframes the Oscar party situation from being about Usher approaching Justin aggressively to being about Justin having an anger problem at the exact moment when Usher's team is trying to manage their public narrative. That is a very convenient story to appear at a very convenient time. Now, that is not to say there is nothing to it. Justin himself posted on Instagram and openly admitted to struggling. His exact words, "I know I am broken. I know I have anger issues." So it is not like this is coming completely out of nowhere, but there is a significant difference between a husband and wife privately navigating his mental health journey together and a planted tabloid story designed to shift public sympathy away from Usher and on to Justin's behavior. And right now, I am not convinced this report is the former. What I do believe, based on everything Hailey has consistently shown publicly, is that she is genuinely supportive of Justin, that she has been through the hardest periods of his life with him and has not walked away, and that if she has concerns about him, they are coming from a place of love, not frustration. The tabloid framing of her being at the end of her rope with him does not match the woman we have seen standing by him consistently through everything. But zoom out for a second, because there is a bigger picture to what Hailey being pulled into this story actually means. This started as a confrontation between two men with a complicated history, and it has slowly expanded outward. Usher's people speaking, Justin's camp responding, witnesses talking, footage circulating, and now Hailey is in it, whether she wanted to be or not. And that matters because Hailey entering this narrative changes the emotional stakes entirely. Because now this is not just about industry politics or old mentor relationships or financial allegations or even the Diddy connection. Now this is about a marriage, a family, a woman who was standing in a room watching someone approach her husband with anger and aggression and then went home and sat with that and posted about something hurting her soul and is now having her private concern for her husband weaponized by tabloid sources trying to push a specific narrative. Hailey did not ask to be part of this story. She was just there. She was there because she loves her husband and wanted to spend Oscar weekend with him at one of the most celebrated events of the year. And instead, she ended up at the center of one of the most talked about celebrity situations of the entire year. And the way she has handled it, quietly, deliberately, and with complete control of her own narrative, is honestly impressive. While Usher is managing damage control through sources, and Justin is maintaining his silence, and tabloids are trying to spin anger issue narratives, Hailey dropped the most human and most honest thing anyone connected to this situation has put out. She was not okay. Something happened that affected her, and she let people know in the most Hailey way possible. And that quiet, controlled honesty in the middle of all this noise is somehow the loudest thing anyone has said about this entire situation since it started. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Hailey's post was directly connected to the Oscar party? And do you think she is eventually going to address this more directly? Let me know what you think. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.